I'll read more from the Breitbart story because I can't read this from the CBC because they haven't reported on it. To help stop the proliferation of violent extremism online, we will move forward with new regulations for social media platforms, starting with a requirement that all platforms remove illegal content, including hate speech, within 24 hours or face significant financial penalties. So within 24 hours of the Liberal Party complaining to their friends at Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, those companies absolutely have to take down the content in question or face significant penalties. Now, I imagine that some illegal content, like a terrorist snuff film, for example, would be immediately evident. But in what other legal system that you can think of is there an accusation, a trial, and a verdict, and maybe an appeal in 24 hours? In real life, if there is an accusation, it has its day in court. If there's an urgent crime, if there's an emergency, the police race over and stop any violence and detain someone dangerous if that's necessary. But then, if he's not dangerous, he's let out on bail, if there's no real risk, and then everybody comes back to court after having had time to prepare, and a neutral judge in an open court has a hearing. That's how we decide if something is illegal in Canada. An accusation is definitely a part of it, but it's just the starting part. Then we have the middle part, and then we have the end part. We don't do it in 24 hours by threatening social media companies with a massive fine. It's clear they'll always lean in favor of the Liberal government's demands. I mean, not only are they liberal to begin with by nature, but these companies, they simply don't want to pay $1 million fine for not listening to Justin Trudeau. It's actually a shakedown, Trudeau shaking down the social media companies, but I think they like it. It just gives them legal cover for a massive political purge that they want to do now, but just couldn't justify. Trudeau is telling social media companies, censor my enemies in 24 hours or I'll hurt you. It's exactly what he threatened Sheryl Sandberg, the Facebook COO, with directly 18 months ago. Remember that? The Toronto Star actually reported that once, and then no one ever mentioned it again. Because they're all on payroll now, including the Toronto Star now. Toronto Star is getting $115,000 a week from Trudeau. That's where this is all headed. All media will either be paid by the government or punished by the government. Lawton, Menzies, Rebel News. I searched and I found only one story about this in Canada, written by this interesting-looking fellow, David Hellwig, an old-school 1960s Liberal who wrote this item in Sault Today. That's a small publication for Sault Ste. Marie. Good story. There's about 70,000 Canadians who live in Sault Ste. Marie. In the form of David Hellwig's story, they got more journalism than anyone who reads the Toronto Star or the CBC, didn't they? That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant Show, which is a show I do every day. I do a monologue, interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at premium.rebelnews.com.